Happy Imbolc, everybody. Oh, where'd that voice come from? Evidently, I haven't spoken out loud. Well, I have to the dogs, but that was strange. Well, thank you, Barbara. Very much indeed. Yeah, this is a learning curve for me because going live can be scary, even if you're only in your own house and nobody is here with you but your animals. Anyway, it is Imbolc morning, and I am so excited. We do have sunshine. It's brilliantly reflecting off the barn door and bouncing back into the house. But all of my um, bride brigs, the bride, they're all the cloths that I had put out last night. I had put out a post about setting a cloth out over a shrub on a windowsill, someplace where it will be able to catch the breezes, catch the morning dew or whatever. We had frost, 4 below still, and some sprinkling of snow and such. So I had all this moisture on top of my fabrics as I brought them back in. And in that water holds the blessing that bride has given as she has flown over and brought back the noticeably longer days. This is February 1st. Lambing season begins. Imbolc is about the milk, the mother's milk. And the sheep begin to lactate. And they are either in labor or beginning to start to give birth to the baby lambs. And we are able to notice that the days are getting longer. It's the halfway mark between winter and the next season, which is going to be spring. But what kind of a spring are we going to have this year? Again, the weatherman's predictions are all over the map. Let me say hi to Barb Pet and Leah. Hi, good morning. How are you? Barbara. Oh, these glasses. Who do we have here? Oh, Jan. Hi, how are you? Barbara Berkman. Barbara Pet. Let's see. White Lilac. Wild Lilac. Oh my gosh. You know, when you get inexpensive ones, they go bad besides the fact that it makes it hard to see. Anyway, so this morning I wanted to talk about Brigid, Brigantia, Bright. She is known by so many different names. And then, of course, the Catholics had to get involved and named her a saint rather than the pagan goddess that she is. She is the daughter of Dagda. And Dagda is the chief of the gods of the Tuatha And I prefer the pagan goddess, though saint just means exalted, which is what her name means in the first place. So before we go too far into her history and such, let me call in Bride with an incantation that I had written several years ago. And it goes like this. Ride the smithy, teach me to forge. Together we bridge over the gorge. What is it floats under the boards? Oh my God, my memory has flopped. I need to read it. Can't believe that. Let me start again. Mostly because I'm nervous this morning. I don't know why. Don't know why. Okay, here we go. Ride the smithy, teach me to forge. Together we bridge over the gorge. What is it floats under the boards? Bits to release and scraps move out words. The used and the need and how to proceed rise on the babbles of our elemental creeds. Now, bride's gifts as a goddess made her the protector of smithies. She was known to be a blacksmith, the keeper of the flame, the tender of the wells, the holy wells, the sacred waters, cattle, all livestock, horses, the deer, birds of all nature, midwives, babies, looked over the cradles of each. She has such a long history in the pagan world, and there was no getting rid of her tale when the Catholics wanted to change the scenario and get all of these converts. They basically did the same thing with St. Patrick. Her exact birth is not known, but she lived between 450 and 525, somewhere in there, in that circa. And I'm not saying that after her young life that she didn't start a temple for women and men, though that is the story, the scenario that's painted through the Catholic Church, is that it was the first one of its kind. Well, they didn't call it a temple. They called it an abbey, an abbess. She was the abbess. And she had, I can't remember what his name is. Let's see if I wrote that down. No, she had this monastery in Kildare where she was the abbess and where the sacred flame itself was begun. The sacred fire burned from the 5th century through to the 16th century. So we put her in the days of Merlin and the conversion of the pagans and the battles with the Druids by Hadrian, and as the Romans went to conquer the world. And that flame till the 16th century, that puts us in a place where there was so much turmoil going on in a more modern way, because artillery had been invented and no longer are we just battling with swords and bows and arrows. So it fell to the wayside, but it came back, and the sacred flame was given and tended to by the Brigadine nuns. Now, they're a mixture of Catholic nuns, but they also adhere to some of the pagan practices. And until that order began to die out, they had passed the flame on in 2010 to a fellow that don't want to call him an abbot. but his name is Tua Blaze, and he's master of the Holy Celtic Order of the Temple of of Avalonian. He received the flame from the sisters in 2010 and has since been giving candles lit from the Kildare candle to pilgrims who visit St. Gall's retreat in Switzerland. I'm on my way. But first, I got to make a stop in Ireland. So it's very difficult to find good information online right now about this. So I brought to you my books so that you could see which ones they are and where to get the best information if you yourself are interested in practicing with Brigid. So this is one of my favorite books. If you cannot, they're still available on Amazon, I'm pretty sure. But if not, you can probably find them at like used bookstops, like Thrift Books, a Libra. What's that other one? There's another one, Abe's Books. Anyway, Brigid. This is a pretty good one. You can tell I've got lots of notes written in here. And this one is actually my favorite. Tending Brigid's Flame. Because I do my best to be a flame keeper. And then Brigid's Healing. This one is also good. So these are the three books that I have gotten most of my information out of. And I began this journey with her back in 2007, somewhere back in that time. So as a flame keeper, what we are trying to do and what Brigid did was with these women of her temple, it was to keep the flame going 19 days in a row. Now we're talking about a forged flame, not just a candle, but a big flame. So there were 19 nuns in the collective, and each one would take a day where they had to stay up all night long and tend to this flame. And then on the 20th night, the flame was allowed to burn on its own, and it was up to Brigid to tend to that flame. So an ember, even if it's just down to an ember, if it has some kind of charcoal in there, which nuggets of wood will turn into charcoal, that ember can burn through the night on its own. And even a gust of wind will not blow it out. It will rather ignite it and give rise to it. So they probably had a great deal of success because it was in a particular forge. There were things built around it. You can still find some photos of that. I couldn't find the website this morning so that I could tell you where to go. But if you look for sites of flame keepers, flame tenders, don't type in Saint Bridget, but rather go for the pagan Bridget, you'll get a better access to information. So, I love ritual. And over the years, especially in my early days, I would spend a lot of time preparing in ritual. And when the ceremony would be finished, I would close and leave. Well, what I have found, and perhaps this comes with maturity or long time of practice, I don't spend so much time warming up anymore. And maybe it's because, well, we've had these shifts in time hopping, time regressions, back and forth, up and down, all around the playground, that I find it's never really closed. Is it because I read the Akashic? I don't think so. I think everybody is in this space. Hello, holding your space. How are you this morning, Terry? And so being in this space, I'm more concerned with the ceremony that continues when I walk away from the altar, when I walk away from the cards I've drawn and have left on the table, so that the energy continues to emanate and attract. And I think that the lack of closing is because the mystique needs to remain. And that is what we as light workers hold inside of us, hold dear to us, and want to spread without using words. Speak less, say more. That's a Native American philosophy. And that is keeping the mystique alive, triggering others to use their own brains. But what we are doing is protecting the magic as we walk away. As we leave the altar, we put it in a sacred place, a sacred holding your space place. And so in doing that, I think that general practice, where you do have to spend a lot of time warming up, just matures. It ripens like fine cheese, and it's hard to tell where one ends and the next begins. So, with that having been said, I think I need to look at the chat and see what you all are saying. Hello, Mangled Unicorn. How are you this morning? Grandmother Willow. What are we saying? Hot stuff. Who do we have here? CJ, good morning. What does Barbara have to say? You just Googled Bridget and all of those books popped right up. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that information. So another thing that is part of my ceremony that I didn't do this year for reasons beyond my control. I didn't get my order in time. I order reeds from Ireland. You can get them on Etsy. And I make Brigid's crosses to give out to my neighbors and to mail to friends. And they're very, very green when you make them and not quite so wobbly. Well, this is one that is left from last year. Now, normally, when the weather is abiding and that fire gets lit, the old ones will get burned as long as there's new ones to replace them. So this one won't be burned until I am able to get reeds. My favorite place to get them is out right now because, of course, everybody's had a rush on them for today, to create them for today. But I have the Seasons of the Witches Oracle for Imbolc. So let's draw a couple cards and see what it is they have to say. When I was getting warmed up, see, I do. But when I was drawing from the deck to see what they were going to give us, the first thing that came up was cinnamon rolls. And I have been dying for a cinnamon roll for so long. What did we get this time? Arts and crafts. Nothing exists without the essence of spirit. May it be whispers or charts, or chants rather. Your energy is what brings life to all that you create. So today I'm going to start making a lot of gnomes to give out as gifts. Sock gnomes. Have you ever seen those? There's tons of places on YouTube, lots of videos, and I love making them. What else did we get? Ooh, the bloodstone. Closing your eyes to the truths of reality will only connect you with the illusion you have created. And aren't we walking in enough illusion? Yes. Let's do 5 cards. So this would have been body. This is mind. So we have to keep the mind open, right? This is the spirit of the question for your day. Ooh, blackberries. There is no weaving with existence when you ignore the presence of spirit within the self. Wow. Wow. What a great place for this card. It is in the spirit position. Imagine that. And we know that blackberries are good for us. I prefer them to raspberries. Though I don't mind raspberries when you take the seeds out. But they get caught in my teeth and blackberries don't. Ooh, river rocks. This is for grounding. How perfect. Go to the current, dear ones. Find peace in letting go. Let life wash over your soul and welcome your becoming. Bride the smithy, teach me to forge. Together we bridge over the gorge. What is it floats under the boards? Bits to release and scraps move outwards. The used and the need and how to proceed rise on the babbles of our elemental creed. Angelica. Now there's a wonderful for your skin. Oh my gosh. And I need a new bottle of essential oil on Angelica. The bells have rung, chiming far and near, underneath the feathered wings, my dear. You have nothing to fear. How true. And don't you feel the shift in the air? Haven't you been noticing? And this is the full moon. Oh my gosh, this morning I came downstairs and she was awesome. I tried to get a picture through my dirty windows. Let me see if I can show it to you. Why does it get so difficult? Oh, you can't see it here, but I can see the man in the moon in that. It looks like the sun. She was shining very yellow. Let me see. It's hard to, you can't see it. I'm sorry. But it was beautiful. I couldn't believe it. And that was at 7:30 this morning. So 4:58 this afternoon Eastern time is the full moon. And Valerie and I will be on at 7 o'clock Eastern. Paul, oh, Paul Freed, how are you? I am so sorry for your loss, your sister's loss of her husband. Paul's brother-in-law was doing what he loved, right, Paul? And I can relate to that. He was riding his motorcycle and hit a deer head on. Hello, Karen Robinson. So, Paul, we are sending you all sorts of energy and love. Let's take a moment just to take a deep breath for Paul's brother-in-law. May he find peace on the other side. Yes, Paul. Love and hugs. What to Kelly Bach? How are you this morning? Good to see you. Yes, we all are sending everything we can to you. So as we get to the end of this morning, we've been here for a half an hour, and I don't want to take up all your Sunday morning time. Let's think about ritual and what can you do to enhance your own programs. Yes, I will be wrapping myself in my favorite one as soon as it dries out enough. It's still wet and cold right here. This is my favorite shawl. And I keep the flame. I do the best I can. Many of you, I've already told you several times that I have 2 closed lanterns on the front porch, and I keep 7-day candles going in them. Well, when I'm outside a lot, I am able to spend time with each flame. It's been difficult because it's been so cold here. So cold. Like we had a 18 below without the wind. This morning it was 4 below without the wind. So it's hard to keep the candles going. And I'm out of candles. I went through them so fast that I couldn't keep the 19 days of flames. And I light 2 candles, one for this house and one for the world. So in that, I've been lighting candles inside. I have bayberry candles going right now. Vigil lights, the smaller ones that can burn for 7-8 hours. But I put 3 in a big bowl and let them spread out. And I get about, well, if I let it burn steady, it would probably be 24 hours. So that's pretty good. And where did I get those? Colonial Candle, I believe. They make some decent bayberry candles. The aroma is tremendous. And this one has a little winter spice in it as well. So you get that waft of nutmeg and cinnamon, a little clove. But in closing, I would like to call in spirit. So let's close with 3 deep breaths. Please place us in a steady stream of divine white light, the white light of divine guidance and divine grace. Michael, wrap your blue bubble of protection around us that shrinks to fit as we step into the healing teal green orb of Raphael that floats and shares and spreads and transfers. The divine white light, the white light of divine guidance and divine grace. Where there is darkness, let there be light. Where there is pain, let there be softening. Where there is loneliness, let there be friendship. Where there is hatred, let there be love. Where there is sorrow, let there be joy. So mote it be. It is the month of popping trees, halfway through winter, on our way to spring. Bye, everybody. Have a good time today. Get some cinnamon rolls. Think of me as you munch them. Bye-bye.